feel that this vlog is just gonna be such great energy because this is my first official day, technically, of just summer vacation because I submitted my last assignment last night. So I officially am just not thinking about school. And already, like I woke up today and my brain was just like refreshed and it had so much space, which is like crazy because like my schooling, in my opinion, isn't even that hard. Like, you know, I'm a film major with a marketing minor. Personally, to me, I don't have the most grueling or intense situation going on, and I'm very aware of that. I just still have stuff going on in my brain, and when there's stuff going on in my brain, I just don't make time for like the things that I enjoy, like my hobby and my entertainment and my shows and my books. I knew I wasn't in a reading slump because it wasn't the books itself that were making me not want to read. It was just, again, the brain. Starting off the week, I just have such good energy. Like the sun is out. It's our first week of like high 70s and 80s consistently. At this moment, I am so beyond happy, and I'm just happy to be existing. I'm happy to be living. Vitamin D is really just like such a good thing. We're gonna be taking out my braids. I've been wearing this headband religiously because they just look, my scalp looks a mess. They look fuzzy. They look all the things. That's probably gonna be like the main task for today. I have to take out the braids and then I have to like deep condition, wash my hair, do all of that. I got some new stuff from the beauty supply store. I got this 𝐁𝐬𝐢𝐬 Rosemary Mint Strengthening Hair Mask. I'll probably use this today. And then I also got this Intensive Hydration Conditioner, which, yeah, I don't already have this. Freaking hours later, guys. 2 hours later and I'm a completely different person. That literally just sucks the entire soul and energy out of me. I would like to take a 12-hour nap. My feet hurt. I just can't stand anymore. I'm so glad to be sitting. My hair is gonna need some good TLC because I don't know what happened. Normally, detangling after any type of protective style, after I straighten, it's not too intense. Like, it's not too hard. My hair normally like detangles fairly easily. Like, I can finger detangle. This was the first time, literally ever, that I've like done my own hair that the detangling process hurt so bad because my hair just like matted up into these like crazy knots. I don't know if it was because I didn't comb out the gel before I went in the shower, but I don't feel like that was it because I never do that when I take out my braids, and normally the detangling process is fine. I feel like, you know, the only thing different was like me using the 𝐁𝐬𝐢𝐬 shampoo for like the first time. Like normally I stick to my Shea Moisture black castor oil products. I was trying to branch out. I don't think I will be trying new things anymore. When I tell you mattes, like my hair was clumped and matted together. Like it was like just big locks. I lost so much hair, but it's like, it's fine. Like I don't like stress about the like losing hair aspects because the reason I have the bonnet on, I put that wild hair growth oil on, okay, massaged my scalp. You know, we're just gonna start the regrowing process, but my hair definitely needs some like TLC. Like I don't even know, like I put the 𝐁𝐬𝐢𝐬 hair mask and I'm scared. I'm scared after that whole experience. I'm like, Shea Moisture is like, just stick to what you know. This is what you get when you try to turn your back on us. Like, we never do you dirty, which realistically, like, they never do me dirty. Like, I'm used to, like, putting some Shea Moisture conditioner and immediately I could just little 2-finger coils and, like, you know, the tangles disperse on their own. The tangles were not dispersing on their own with this hair mask. So my scalp hurts. But anyways, it's now about to be 7 o'clock. I don't have to cook dinner tonight. I'm gonna have some leftovers, so that's good. I have more time to just sit in this bed. It's finally time to start getting to the books. And if these books look familiar in my hands, both of them, it's because I started reading these in April. And no, I started reading both of them in April. This one was supposed to be my book club's April book of the month. April came around, I started it, I just couldn't. Like, I had to let the book club know, like, listen, y'all, this one's gonna take me 2 months. Okay, this one's gonna take me 2 months, like maybe after my finals are finished, because for some reason, like, it's just not locking in. Like, and I don't know if there's too many distractions and it's just not clicking, or if it's the book in general that's not clicking. So we got The Neighbor Favor. Point blank, it's got to be finished because I need to let the book club know that I made it through. And then Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan is also another book that I started in April and then just didn't pick up. But it wasn't even because the book was bad. It was just, this book was a little bit more intense and I couldn't conceptualize the intensity. See, I'm tired and I can't speak. With the other distractions going on in my brain. Maybe we can complete these two because these are both books that I'm like already 100 or so pages into it. I haven't opened up my Kindle in weeks. Weeks. We have been having really bad luck with my book club books. Okay, we've had, is this the third? No, we've had like, I think we've had like 3 so far. And we have yet to have, at least for me, like I have yet to have like a higher than a 4 point, no, realistically like higher than a 4 stars or something even closer to 5 star for any of the book club books that we've selected. And I'm just like, what is the curse of the book club books? Like, I just want us to have a book club book where it's like 5 stars across the board, or at least I think it's a 5 star, because I haven't been enjoying these books that we've been picking. And I feel like it's because, you know what, like I love my book club. I love my book club girlies, but I feel like you guys are playing on my downfall because every time I try to put a sports romance into the voting polls, y'all make sure it's the lowest voted book. Like, why do y'all hate sports romance so much? It's my favorite romance genre. Please. I've been trying to sneak it in. Every time we have to vote for a book for the book club, I'm always sneaking into sports romance, and the girls are like, just take, why are you putting that in there? I just reached page 197 and I had my first, like, you know when you're reading a romance book and you just have like a moment where you're like, excuse me, what did you just say? And I eat that up. Like, I personally really need that in order to enjoy a romance book. Like, I just need that, like, what are you saying to me, sir? What are you saying to me? And why, like, like what's happening? And I just got a moment like that. But it took me 200 pages to get there, and it still was just like the tiniest little sliver. Like the guy said, I could be free whenever you want. And I'm taking the crumb. I'm taking a crumb. I'm taking a crumb. Because what do you mean? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Anyways, I'm about to start making my breakfast at 1 o'clock, but I'm too hungry in the moment to start making my breakfast, so I needed something to just put in my stomach so that I can make my breakfast and then not be hungry while I'm making my breakfast, but still be hungry enough to eat my breakfast. If you guys watched like one of those last like what I eat in a day videos, you saw me making my little chia pudding. Literally new favorite thing is chia pudding, no other fruit, just pomegranate seeds. Chia, okay? The chia pudding, pomegranate seeds. Bro, it's like the perfect amount of like sour and sweet, and then with the combination of like just like the pudding. 10 out of 10. It's currently like about to be 6 o'clock. I got a late start to my reading because I was just, I really wasn't doing anything. I was scrolling, which you guys know, me and my scrolling. But I'm currently on page like 230. I'm 59% through. And this book just feels like it's taking forever. And I feel like there's multiple reasons, but like right now I'm really feeling the aspect that like the chapters are just longer than I usually like. Like, I'm all here and I'm an advocate for short chapters, like 5-page chapters love. Like, I love keeping it snappy because it's not like it's cutting out, you know, like aspects of the book, but there's something about just like wrapping up a chapter really fast that makes me want to keep going. But if I'm just like, or no, it's not that it makes me want to keep going, like it makes me feel like I've accomplished something. So it's like if it took me 1 hour and I've read 10 chapters, I'm like, whoa, like I'm accomplishing and like I want to keep going. Versus it takes me 1 hour and I've already only read like 2.5 chapters, but like the same amount of pages as 10 chapters. I'm like, I just want to take a nap halfway in the middle of one chapter. Like the next chapter I'm about to go into is, it starts on page 230 and it ends on page 244. So it's like around 14 pages. Which like doesn't sound like a lot when you read it out loud, but like when I'm actually gonna be in it, like that's a lot of pages to be in one chapter in my opinion. This is a long, but the book isn't even long. I don't know, like there's just something about this book that just feels long, and it feels longer than other romance books that I've read because I mean it's 383 pages, so it's not like it's the longest romance book I've ever read. Like I've read romance books that are like 400 pages, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like it's just because I feel like nothing's really happening, which is weird for me to say because I loved books like Icebreaker or like The Right Move and like all of those books where like objectively like nothing really is happening, but what's happening is like a lot of banter and a lot of like sexual tension, a lot of like flirting and romancing. Whereas this, because they can't really like be together right now, it's more so just like a lot of pages of building a friendship, getting to know each other with like little sprinkles of like tension here and there. And I feel like I just need a little bit more than that to be like entertained and to push me through a 380 page romance book. And I feel like that's why I also like struggle with like YA romances, because YA romances don't really have well obviously they don't have spice, but it's not even that like I need spice, but it's just like the banter, the moments where I'm like I need to be like fanning, I need to be like catching my breath, I need to be like shook by what the man is doing. Because I wouldn't consider this a rom-com, but it has that like rom-com feel where it's more like lighthearted, it's just like a fun vibe. I feel like I want to read like a mafia romance or something. Like I feel like I need something like that. Like I feel like I need something like that, like Marriage of Convenience, so that the gang rivals don't kill you. Like I feel like I fear I may need that type of energy. Hopefully I feel like I can finish it. I'm not gonna make any promises on what day, but I at least need to finish it within this time frame. My state of being, okay, the pimple cream and the scarf. I'm gonna go to bed soon. It is 11:30, but I never told you guys I'm sitting here currently and I'm watching Rise of the Planet of the Apes because I bought myself tickets to go see, what's the newest one called? Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I'm not like a Planet of the Apes stan, but it was a part of my childhood. Like my brother loved the Planet of the Apes. I love a good action flick, especially if it's like a multi-film series, like a good Transformers, a good Maze Runner, Planet of the Apes. I enjoy that stuff, especially if it's like low-key dystopian. So yeah, I bought myself the tickets because it just came out recently and I'm going to that tomorrow. So because of that, I decided that I wanted to try to rewatch all 3 of the latest films that tie into this newest one. It's about to be 12 o'clock, so I'm probably literally only gonna get through 1. So I don't know, but I turned on the camera to speak to you guys because I have like raging anxiety boiling in the pit of my stomach. I feel like I get similar anxiety watching scary movies as I do movies like Planet of the Apes, because like I know what's coming, and the dread of something bad happening to an animal is such a like I just don't know. Like when there's a dog in a movie, please don't. Please, you have to make sure nothing bad happens to the dog, because I will not be able to exit. I will throw up. I'm sick to my stomach. And then with Planet of the Apes, like, Planet of the Apes starts out with apes being kidnapped from their home territory and, like, sad. And I'm like, what do you mean you took the apes away from their family? What do you mean you just stole them and took them away from their family and turned them into test subjects? Because I did watch, like, a full documentary on, like, you know, testing on chimpanzees and, like, all the stuff that they did. And I'm like, that's just so sad. Like, these are our relatives. Beyond that, like, just the fact, I don't know what it is about animals. Like, when I hear about, like, SeaWorld, and I'm like, ugh, don't go to SeaWorld, guys. Please don't go to SeaWorld. I don't support zoos either, because I'm like, what are we doing to the animals? Why are we trying to capture them? Let them live. Let them live. Who are we? Imagine if the animals got all smart and then decided to put us in a cage and just look at us for fun. Pay to look at us for fun. Are we crazy? I don't know why I'm ranting. I feel like humans expeditiously wrong when we started to, like, differentiate ourselves from the other animals. When we were like, oh, we're not animals, we're human. We're human, and we're like, those are the animals are the animals, and like, we are animals too. And then we get on our high horse thinking we're better than them, thinking we're better than the lions, the tigers, the rhinos, you know, even the dogs who we domesticated, you know, the cats, and we think we're better than them. And then moments like this in Planet of the Apes, I'm like, hey, when the animals decide one day to wake up, turn their back, and just turn on us, I'm not even gonna blame them. I'm not gonna blame them. I'm gonna be like, hey, you know, you do you. I hope you spare me or you just kill me fast, okay? Because y'all deserve to get your vengeance back, because we took this earth from you and we ruined it. We took the icebergs from the polar bears. We took the ice from the penguins, okay? We take the tusks from the elephants. What are we doing? I really hate us. Anyways. You know what? No, I'm not done yapping. The part that pisses me off is that we then kill them when they act out. Like, if an animal in a zoo, like if a zookeeper, you know, like gets into like I've seen those situations a lot. Like a zookeeper gets into like a cage with like a chimp or something like that, or like an ape, and the ape is just having a bad day. The ape attacks the person, and then they pull out their guns and they shoot the ape. So maybe you just shouldn't have put the ape in the cage in the first place. Maybe you should have kept the apes where they were at. Maybe you should have let the animals stay in their natural habitat instead of trying to take them to Miami Zoo. And then when the zookeeper tries to feed them and the ape is like, I actually don't like being encaged and captured anymore, I'm gonna go kill this human, and then you go shoot the ape. It pisses me off as humans that we have such an entitlement to these beautiful, beautiful creatures that are intelligent and have their own freaking lives. And human beings are just so entitled that, like, we go into the middle of the ocean and we take dolphins. We take whales. What business do we have taking whales? I'm sorry, like, I keep saying I would stop, but I just keep going because it really pisses me off. It really pisses me off. And then we kill them when they don't act like how we want them to act. Weird. Weirdos. It's currently profusely downpouring, but I checked the weather and the weather is saying that it's supposed to stop like in the next 30 minutes and I don't have to leave for another kind of like hour or so. So I'm really crossing my fingers. And then the weather app is saying that this is the final rain of the day, and then the sun's not gonna come back out, it's saying, but it's just saying that it's gonna stop raining. It's currently 10 o'clock. I woke up at like 9:15. I know it takes an hour to get to my movie theater. I go at such weird times because the only time available, well, they had other times available to see Planet of the Apes in IMAX. It's just, by the time I went to go get the tickets, all of the middle seats were taken. And I'm like, if I'm gonna make this trek, I'm getting a middle seat. So they had the most random time and it was 12:30 on a Thursday. And I got it for 30% off. So honestly, that was more meant to be like, if I gotta wake up early and lose some sleep, but save money, I'm gonna do it. I went to bed at 3 a.m. last night. And then quickly realized I didn't even need to do that. I watched 2 out of 3 of the like new revamped trilogy of Planet of the Apes, only to realize that this next movie is 300 years after the last Planet of the Apes movie, with a completely new set of apes. So I'm sitting here like being like, oh, I gotta watch this, like I gotta understand the lore, I gotta understand like, you know, each ape, I gotta understand their characters. They're dead. Maya, they're dead. They've been dead for centuries. Dead. So that was a little bit disheartening, and then I realized that I literally, like, watching the first one was fun. The second one, because I was so tired, I was like, started to skip through it a bit. The third one I just couldn't even touch, because by the time it was time for the third one, it was already 2:30, and the third one was 2 hours and 20-something minutes long. So I just went on YouTube and I looked up recap of War of the Planet of the Apes, because that's the third one, and did the recap. It was 3 minutes, and I got all the information I needed. I could have done that for the second movie. Realistically, the first movie was all I needed to see the origin of the simian flu, to see the origin of the disease. Why did this happen? Why has the human race almost completely died out? All I needed to see was the first movie. And then I could have gotten the little recaps of second and third. But you know what? You live and you learn. You live and you learn. This is my fit, guys. I've already worn this once already, or like multiple times. This is my like go-to. It's warm outside, baggy jeans, tank top, and then a sweater. So this is what I'm wearing. I have my tote bag, and that's it. Wearing my pink New Balances today, and that's the vibe. Let's go. I was about to say good morning, but it's literally 1:13, but it feels like morning for me because I got a late start to my gym. So I got out of the gym at like 11:30, got out of the shower at like 12:30. I'm gonna give you a quick Sephora haul that nobody asked for, but I have to do it like for my sanity because I spent $80 at Sephora and I only got 2 things, and that feels like so disrespectful. But these 2 things I really needed. Well, not really needed, actually. This was the only thing that I did need. Topicals Brightening and Clearing Serum. I've been using this for about 2 months now, but I got a travel size the last time. I got the travel size because I'd never tried it, so I just wanted to try it out, see if I liked it, and I have been liking it. I don't know. I mean, I do feel like my dark marks are lessening or brightening. I don't know. I do feel like they're brightening, but also I've kind of like started exfoliating at the same time that I was using it, so I can't tell if it's exactly like all thanks to this or if it's thanks to this and the exfoliation. Currently the routine is working for me, so I'm gonna keep doing it. So I needed to re-up, and they didn't have the little travel size, so I was like, all right, fine, I'll just get the big tube, and this was like $38, but I do feel like it's worth it because I do feel like it's helping my skin. Second thing I got is the Supergoop Glow Screen, because if you don't know, Supergoop is probably one of my favorite, I don't even know if they would classify themselves as skincare or makeup because they make both. More of the story, I would classify them as a sunscreen brand because their whole thing is that every product that they make is infused with SPF. So this glow screen is a sunscreen, but it's SPF 40. It's kind of like a tinted and it has like a little bit of a shine. So it just gives you like a nice dewy glow. And this looks nice like if you're doing makeup in the summer and you want like a nice dewy finish. So that combined was $80. Okay. Before we get started with the rest of the day, I have to tell you guys about the book because I finished it yesterday while I was in the park. I was like, I am not leaving this garden until I finish this book, and I made it through. I made it through, and I was sleeping on my rating. I think I've solidified it because I put it on my Goodreads, and I think I'm gonna give this book a 3-star, which isn't bad, Like, I'm not saying it's like, you know what I'm saying? It just definitely wasn't my fave. Realistically, if I'm gonna be so transparent with you guys, I skimmed at least a quarter of this book. Certain chapters where it was like a lot of stuff that I just didn't necessarily, in the nicest way possible, care about. So I kind of just skimmed. I don't think I ever gave the synopsis of this book at the beginning. This girl, Lily, was emailing with one of her favorite authors, and then, you know, she's starting to fall for the guy through the emails, and then he ghosts her. And then that's like the plot. But then we know, and this isn't spoiling, it's all in the back, the guy that ghosts her ends up being her neighbor, and that's kind of the vibe, and she needs a date to a wedding, so he's helping her find a date to a wedding. That sounds like a really cool, vibey premise. I'm vibing with it. Maybe this writing style wasn't for me. Like, after finishing this, and I'm like, can I only read Wattpad romance? The only romance books I've given 5 stars are Wattpad romances. And like, Wattpad, like, I feel like I never know how to explain it, and I hope it like it makes sense. And I hope you guys understand what I say, like the difference between like a Wattpad romance versus like a rom-com. Essentially, like, I feel like a rom-com follows a very specific structure. There's like something that happens. There's like an inciting incident. There's like some type of conflict, and then we're kind of chugging, and they're not together until like at least like that last little few chapters in the book. Like, that's normally like the rom-com vibe. Rom-coms are normally like about like working to get the couple together. Whereas Wattpad books are like, they're normally the messy relationships. Like, they're like situationships where it's like flirty friends, fake dating where you know what I'm saying? Like, where the lines are just blurred and the banter is always bantering, and it's like, you're like, is this toxic? Maybe. But like, is this a good time? Yes, absolutely. All of like those types of books, like the Wattpad-esque books, like Icebreaker, I'm looking at like the entire Windy City series. Honestly, Magnolia Parks. I know people would hate if I called Magnolia Parks a Wattpad book, but just in the sense of like the dramatics of it all and the like lack of plot structure, just vibes. That, like, all of those books I've rated 5 stars because they're just straight vibes. Every time I read like a rom-com-y type romance, Abby Jimenez, Emily Henry, I've only read one Emily Henry book, and I did enjoy it. It's just they're never a 5-star because there's always points where I'm like, this is just a little too cute. This is just a little too docile for me. Like, this is just a little bit too wholesome. I need some insanity a little bit. That was my mindset coming out of this book. You know, I'm just gonna keep trying with the rom-coms. Maybe it's just like I gotta find a specific author that like I gel and that I vibe with to give me that rom-com-y vibe. I didn't really connect with the characters that much. Like, a lot of backstory about the characters I found myself skimming, and also I wasn't swooning over the male main character. Again, to read a romance book, like, I need to be like head over heels swooning for the male main character, and not even like attractive wise, just normally like the acts of service. Like, are they feral? Are they like foaming at the mouth? Are they overly possessive? Like, in a slightly could be toxic, but like it's fiction, so it's not toxic way. Those are the things that normally get me going with romance. This didn't really have those aspects. That is why I landed at a 3-star. But if you are looking for like a cutesy, fun, very wholesome romance book set in New York City that is about writers, then I would recommend this. I'm probably gonna make some breakfast and then just jump right back into Long Shots because this does have all those aspects that I said before that I need. Craziness, but this craziness is just crazy. This book handles a lot of like domestic violence and all that stuff. It's like could be very triggering and all that. So this one is like really intense. This was the same setup that I had while I was filming myself reading the last few pages of Magnolia Parks, and I'm like, immediately, I'm like, I want to get back into reading Magnolia Parks. Like, that might be the next books I do. I don't know what are the next books I'm gonna read after these, because like I just have so many that I'm like itching to read. But I feel like on my physical TBR, the next Magnolia Parks books are probably like at the top. I realize we're coming up close. Actually, no, it's probably gonna be closer to like June, that we're coming up on like 1 year of me finishing the Throne of Glass series and also posting that like Throne of Glass reading vlog. I don't know if anything will ever compare to that feeling, and it doesn't need to. It doesn't need to. Like, it's okay if it takes another decade for me to get something that feels that way, because that was just crazy. And I'm like, I wonder at what point in my lifetime am I gonna do a Throne of Glass like reread? I don't know. I just have the tattoo here to simmer. To remind you, just a reminder, it still sits there. I will be 80 and my grandkids will be like, Grandma, what's the tattoo? What is the tattoo? And I'm like, oh, let me tell you a tale. In a land once forgotten, there was a princess who loved her kingdom that, I don't know. I'm gonna have to remember the line, but I'm gonna tell them the tale. I'm gonna be telling my grandkids the story of Throne of Glass as if it's a bedtime story. We're not supposed to be talking about that. I'm supposed to be giving you an update. This book, already jumped back in, and I'm just like, oh, I love Kennedy Ryan's writing. I love it. I love it. Like, her writing is never the issue. I mean, this is the only book I've ever read by her. And I'm watching Sarah Caroli right now, and she's reading Before I Let Go, which I know Before I Let Go is like such an iconic, like at this point, like everybody's read Before I Let Go. It was like, it's so popular. And I'm like, I need to read that one too. I was always afraid to read it because everybody says it's like intense and it's like about people that got divorced. And I'm like, ooh, like I don't know if I'm gonna really have any relatability there. But I feel like just the fact that it's Kennedy Ryan's writing like might just let me eat it up. Anyways, I love a good sports romance, but I'm especially like an extra amount enjoying this NBA basketball romance because I'm currently in my NBA playoffs watching moment. All of a sudden, like, okay, March Madness, and then I made March Madness my entire personality trait. Now you just put me in the NBA playoffs. I was talking trash about like the NBA. I was like, these guys are so old. Who wants to watch 30-year-olds play basketball? Now all of a sudden, like I'm into the NBA lore. Should I say this on the internet? One of these things that I feel like I was placed on this earth to be is a wag, okay? I truly do believe, guys, I truly believe I have the essence to be a wag. Like, it would not make sense. Like, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna freaking cry. It makes no sense to go any other way. Okay, Firstly, I love sports. I love sports. There's very few sports that like I can't get into, okay? Golf being one of them. If I'm a wag for golf, I'm just not gonna do it. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna come see your game. I'm not gonna do it. Golf and baseball is a little bit, because it's just like, those are two that I'm bored by the sport itself. The other stuff, soccer, basketball, football, I'm like, that's a lot of bumping and violence, you know what I'm saying? Boxing, I don't think I would, you know, maybe there is a lot more than that, sports that I just wouldn't do. But I love sports, okay? I love watching sports. I love reading about sports. I love a good sport, okay? I have great team spirit. Okay, I will show up. I will wear the jersey. I will be cheering. I will be screaming. I will watch your game. I will watch the plays, okay? I will watch the tapes as if I'm about to get on the court and I need to guard you. Like, I will watch. Why am I trying to make my case? I don't know, but these are the things that go in my head. Like, this has gone in my head. I'm like, I was put on this earth. I think I should just stop speaking. But like, do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I would just like it makes so much sense in my brain, dude. It makes so much sense in my brain. It makes so much sense in my brain. Because that's not happening for me right now, I'm living vicariously through our main character, Iris, who is being pursued by an NBA player. And then they just mentioned like the Magic Johnson versus Larry Bird rivalry. And I'm like, I know the lore! I know the lore! I think I embarrass myself sometimes. I'm like embarrassed of myself. Ooh. The thing about this book, and I've said it multiple times, whenever I'm in why am I about to call him Ryan? August. I'm thinking Ryan Taylor Joy. Whenever I'm in August's POV, I like forget what type of book I'm reading. Like, I'm like, ooh, like, you know, like sports romance. Like, I'm giggling. I'm ready to kick my feet because like August is just like, he's so slay. And then I enter Iris's POV, and it's like I'm reading a thriller. Like, I'm on edge. Like, 10 sentences into Iris's POV and like my heart drops and I'm like sweating. And I'm like scared. Like, I'm genuinely terrified at all moments when I read Iris's chapters. And that's why it's like, I feel like it's taken me so long to get through this book, not only because of like the timing in school and everything, but also because it's like, ooh, like every time I see her name pop up and it's a POV switch, which is like, it has nothing to do with her because I love her character. I love that. I'm just scared. I'm scared to enter her POV because I don't know if she's getting hit today. Like, and even beyond that, even if like she's not actually getting like something physically happening to her, like just the, it's gross. It's so gross. And it's so gross. It's so gross. Like, anytime she asks him a question, I'm like, no, girl, no. I'm scared for you. I am so scared. I'm so scared. Like, the whole time, like, a super cute moment that was had between them, between our love interests, and I couldn't enjoy it. I couldn't even enjoy it because in the back of my mind, I was like, babes, he's gonna find out. Caleb's gonna find out. I'm reading a horror book. This is horror. I just finished the chapter and I'm gonna take a break and I'm gonna watch some basketball and cook my dinner. Please take the trigger warning seriously for this book. Like, I'm still like questioning myself, like, can I, like, every time, like, I keep going because like the love story of the main characters is so beautiful, and like the way that Kennedy Ryan writes this is so beautiful that you're just like rooting for them, and like you want, like, I want to see the happy ending. But every chapter I'm questioning if I should just stop. Like, how do I know what's good for my mental health and what's not? Like, I guess it's fine, like, if I take breaks. And also, every time I, like, read one of these, like, really, really bad scenes, I'm always like, okay, maybe that's the last one. Babes, there's been, like, 5. There's been, like, oh. No, it's really bad. So, please take the trigger warning seriously. Trigger warnings, domestic abuse, and also SA, assaults, which I knew it was domestic abuse, but I didn't realize the assault part, and it goes very heavily, like very detailed descriptions of SA details, y'all. Like, I'm not sugarcoating anything, detailed. So please acknowledge those trigger warnings before going into this. And other than that, I would also like to say I would choose the freaking bear. I'd like men to read this book and then try to ask me again, oh, you wouldn't choose the bear? You're so dumb. I would choose the bear any day of my life. I would choose the bear. I would choose the bear. I would choose a tiger. I would choose a lion. I would choose anything but a man. Give me the bear. Give me the bear. Me and the bear might even do a little dance, okay? Maybe I'll feed it some fish and it'll run away. Like, give me the bear. Men are the most terrifying thing on this earth to me. Like roaches was my biggest fear, okay? Men are above roaches in the biggest fear. In the biggest fear. So afraid. Please give me the bear. Give me an elephant. Give me a rhino. Quick and painless. Quick and painless. Quick and painless, okay? My family will know what happened to me. They'll be able to find, see, I didn't even want to get dark. So let me put on my basketball, okay? Let me watch the Timberwolves play basketball, and hopefully that will lighten my spirits, because the spirits are heavy. The spirits are heavy, and they're heavy with anger. They're heavy with anger. They're heavy with anger. And it's like, I always have this feeling like I have to feel bad. Like, I have to feel bad, and I always have to preface, like, not all men, obviously not all men. I'm actually literally sick and tired, and I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that anymore. If the shoe fits, wear it. If it doesn't fit. I'm scared. I've been scared since I was 10, and I'm still scared. And y'all aren't fixing anything. So don't come to me upset, talking about you're being unfair to men, you're being unfair to me. I don't care. I don't care. I am terrified. Are you terrified? No. So shut up. So shut up. I literally am terrified every time I walk out of the house. I'm terrified when I walk down the street, bro. Shut up. They act, so stupid. So stupid. Who gave you the right to speak? Who gave you the right to speak? Talk about something, oh, you should just, bro, the last time I talked about me feeling uncomfortable when I was wearing my leggings outside and I was like walking around, and then I had like people commenting, which I knew they were men, because like you could always tell, I knew they were men. They were like, you should have just taken the compliment and smile. You should take jail time and do with that. Do with that what you please. Because I'm sorry that I look at a man and my immediate reaction is, am I gonna get punched today? Am I gonna get like picked up today? Is something bad gonna happen because I'm 5'4" and they're 6'4"? So shut up. Stop speaking to me and let me live. And women, I'm always here for you. I'm always here for you. We stick together because I'm sick. I'm sick and tired. Anyways, good night. Good morning, you guys. We're in so much better spirits because I stayed up until 5 a.m. Essentially this morning. Like I saw the sun rising, and that was my point where I was like, okay, like I did a lot here. Stayed up till 5 a.m. and I finished the book. So I am sleepy right now because it's currently 11 o'clock. I was hoping to sleep till 11 o'clock, but I had to get up at like 10 because I have to go do something with my mom. But nobody cares. It's just like my brain is slow. My brain is slow right now. But I'm in a better mood than yesterday. I know yesterday was such a damper. Yesterday was such bad vibes, but it got better after that moment because that was like the last really bad moment of this book, which was good. It's funny that I read, not funny, but it's like it's funny and good that I finished these two books like within the same week and within the same video, because I feel like it really solidifies that like I just prefer this type of romance. Minus the trauma, okay? Minus all the bad stuff happening. I prefer this type of romance than this type of romance. And I feel like they're just two very distinct and different romances. And it's not like you have to be a person that likes one or the other and you can't like both. Because I feel like, again, like I can like certain romances that are like this, that are more rom-com-y, that are more wholesome and stuff like that. But it just has to be very specific. And I'm still searching for that like 5-star rom-com book. Whereas this has the pacing and the vibes of my favorite romance series, which is the Windy City series, where it's like, you're kind of just like, it's like both a character study and you're just entering the lives of characters and you're kind of just follow, like, it just feels so real. Everything feels so real, feels so raw. Like, they feel like relationships that would make sense in the real world because they're messy. Like, they're not gotten together. Like, yeah, there's like cute moments and like there's like meet cutes and stuff like that, sure, but it's like, it just all feels so real. So anyways, let me tell you my rating of this book. I was teetering back and forth. I believe I'm gonna give Long Shot at 4.5. I was teetering between 4 and 4.5. And realistically, if this book didn't have the really hard moments in it, it definitely would have been a 5-star. And that's not to say that the hard moments take away from the book. Like, I want you to hear when I say that. Personally, for me, my 5-star rating goes to books that I would read again. Okay, like that, the part that puts it over and gives it that extra 0.5 is like my inclination and my drive to be like, oh, I just want to go back to page 1 and start again. Like, I want to start this over. I want to go back into this book. Like, I want to do this all over again. And I don't want to do this all over again because it was painful through some moments, like really painful, but it was still perfect. I have no notes. It was a phenomenal book. Starting off, Kennedy Ryan's writing it's like phenomenal. Something that could seem so boring sound so interesting. I loved that this book was dual POV and then it was first person. I loved, again, like I said, like I loved the pacing. Like, I didn't feel like there was any moments where like I was bored through this book, where I felt like I said, and like this book goes through multiple years. Like, this isn't like, this is a long timeline, and I didn't feel like anything felt rushed. I didn't feel weird about anything. I mean, I guess nothing should feel rushed because it's 440 something pages, but I personally enjoy those 400 and something 40 pages when I get all of the content that I did with this and I wasn't bored by any of the content. I loved the romance between our two main characters. I keep trying to call August West, who's like the male MMC in this book, I keep trying to call him Ryan Shea because he reminds me so much of Ryan Shea from my favorite romance book, The Right Move. Because also, like, they're both light-skinned basketball players, so like that doesn't help, but also like they have that same like feral for the girl that they love, like acts of service, like just going the extra freaking mile when the mile, like, we're not even on a track and he's like digging a track so that he can run the extra mile. Love this man. Was swooning for this man. So I did have that aspect. I loved our female main character because, like, you know, she's strong with all that she goes through. That's why it's a 4.5 and not a 5. I wouldn't go read it again just because those hard moments were really hard for me. But again, I don't want that to deter you from not picking up this book. Obviously, I do want it to deter you if you feel like that's a trigger for you. But I don't want I don't want it to deter you like I'm talking about it and because like I got so freaked out and I got like, this is just how I react to these types of like circumstances. You know what I'm saying? Like I react very, like, not dramatic either because like it's a warranted reaction, but like I just react very strongly to violence against women. Like it's just really, it's an important thing to me. It's an emotional thing to me. So this book was tougher for me, but it's such a good book if you feel like you can work with those triggers. Yeah, I don't want my my tears and like my like craziness and my ranting to like turn you away if you were interested and you feel like you are fine with like all of the trigger warnings. Because once we got past the rough patch, which I mean the rough patch was we were in the rough patch for like 200 pages. We were in the rough patch until literally the halfway of the book. Okay, for the halfway. Once we got past that and we were finally getting to know like the romance with our main characters, I was like that was why I kept pushing, because I knew once it got good, it would really get good. Once the romance between these characters really started to kick off, I would be unable to put this book down. And that was literally me, like I got to that point at what, like 2 a.m. and then from 2 to 5, I couldn't put it down. Like, very much addicting, so good, so good. And also, I want to say, I don't, like, even though those moments were so hard, I feel like obviously they were hard for a reason. Like, I feel like this was a book, not necessarily that's meant to be educational, but it's like meant to be like a wake-up call kind of type thing. Like, how are we talking about women in these situations? How are we talking about women in the media in these situations? Like, how are we so quick to judge when we have no clue what happens behind closed doors? How are we so quick to say, why didn't you leave sooner? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? Like, and this book really outlines so many factors in a way that's not like preachy. It's not like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like sitting you down and preaching to you, but it's teaching you. Like, it's teaching you through Iris's experience that like there's so many factors to these things and so many things that happen to women that go through these experiences with DV, that it's like, and it's different for everyone. Like, this was just one type of case that could happen. Like, it just shows you that it's like not all the same and it's not all cut and dry. It's not a simple fix of just getting up and leaving. This book also really hit, especially like with what's coming out in the media right now, and so many like female survivors coming forward, and like the media kind of just like tearing them and like ripping them a new one, and like them just being like in the spotlight of this with like so much like judgment and so much talk and all this stuff. And it's like, reading this book, we should already have a humanized and empathetic mentality towards survivors, but like this especially. And I feel like that was, I don't know if that was Kennedy Ryan's goal. Like, I feel like I felt that it was one of her goals, was to humanize this experience and make this experience feel very real, so that we could just have a better understanding and be more compassionate and yeah, be less careless when we're talking about DV survivors. This was like a really impactful line that I felt impacted me. When I told my story, some said I was a hero. I'm not. I'm just a woman who ended up in a bad relationship with a bad man and had to fight my way out of it. That doesn't make me special, but it does make me a survivor. It's happening to women just like me and nothing like me all the time. To our neighbors, to our best friends, to our sisters. It's happening behind closed doors or even out in the open. Documented in redacted police reports or in a million views on a viral video that we judge and poke at and debate. I felt like that was just so current, like with like all the videos and stuff that's been coming out lately, and how we just speculate and speculate. But it's like, and also I found it really interesting how this like book touched on like justice, and how justice is rarely ever received for survivors because this justice system is screwed up in that aspect, and how it's like a lot of people just get away scot-free for things. Like, if you have power and money, you can really buy your way out of so much. You can control your way out of so much, which is also a factor that people don't recognize when people are like, well, why didn't you come forward? Why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you call the police? Why didn't you report this? It's like, what about �XYZZZZZ that he had against me, that the court, like all of these things that we just don't think about. And it's definitely like opened my eyes. And it's like, my eyes were already like, they were open, but now they're wide. Anyway, so now I'm just rambling. But yes, 4.5 stars. There's 2 more books in the series, I think. I think there's Block Shot and Hook Shot. I believe it's interconnected, but I don't know if I don't think I'm gonna jump into that right away. I'm probably gonna do something on my TBR after these. These are the 2 books that I've finished. I am very excited to be back in my reading era, to be back reading books, talking about books. Yeah, let me know what type of bookish content you guys want to see. Also, let me know if you made it this far in the video, what are you currently reading? What are you currently reading right now? And if you're not reading anything, what is on your June TBR? Thanks for watching. See you later.